I muted myself. Hello, my true crime lovelies. How are you? Happy Saturday. Sorry to leave you guys hanging earlier. I had some weird internet issues, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Peppermint BJ. Fair enough. Hey, Darby, aka Cat Lady. The interrogation. Oh, wow. Yeah. I actually had to go back and look at that myself. I wanted to. Yes, Alley Cat. I'm so excited too. Can you hear me now, Northwest? What's up? Every day is like Sunday. Okay. Thank you, Northwest. Tahoko dance? What's that? Oh, now the girls think I'm talking to you guys. So I'm going to turn this light on. I've got the little one. Is that better? No, we'll do this. I wanted to go over her. Now they're going to wake the baby up. Hang on one second, guys. Okay, yes, I'm one of those people whose dogs get in the bed. Hey, Elores. Yes, Sarah is screwed. So for the members, I sent a thing this morning wondering if some of the bluster in Owen's examination of Sarah was like a little bit of obfuscating the fact that he didn't file the other motion, right? He was meant to file a motion for suppressing the cell phone videos, and there's something else I'm drawing a blank on. So he asked all those questions surrounding it, like basically intimating that she was coerced into giving up her phone, right? That the detective Copsol said one thing and what's your code and all that crazy stuff. But I want to go back with it. T-minus 2 days, yes. So mom or dad, oh my God. I was just watching him too. That's why I was like, I can't move it again though. I was just watching what he was doing. He's pulling up documents. Let's just hop into, let's see Sarah on the stand. I'm probably going to talk more on this one than when we saw the first one, just because I have new ideas and I also want to incorporate what you guys are saying, because I'm sure you've watched it more than once by now, because I think this will be like my 5th viewing of it. We're just going to look at her testimony only, because I have some thoughts and I want to hear y'all's thoughts too. So let's get this up. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot.
Any further witnesses, evidence, or testimony, sir?
Judge, I'd like to call Sarah Boone.
Ms. Boone can approach the podium. She was previously sworn at the beginning.
Judge, I'll be here.
Yes, sir.
So she's going to do her little wiggle dance.
And the deputy's got to move her.
And I'm guessing he rehearsed with her at least once, at least. For the most part, she did really good with the short.
Ma'am, you've already been sworn. Counselor, you may proceed.
And would you please state your full name?
Sarah Boone.
Well, you're going to have to speak up or move the mic.
Sarah Boone.
Yes.
Where are you currently housed?
At the Orange County Corrections Department.
Have you been there since February the 25th of 2020?
Correct.
Was that the date of this interrogation that we're here for on this motion?
Yes.
All right. Let me take you back to the morning of finding George Torres in the suitcase. You called 911?
Yes,
Is it true that Detective or Deputy Kayla Rodriguez of the Sheriff's Department arrived?
yes,
Hold on. Am I the only one annoyed that when he said, say your full name, she said Sarah Boone? Isn't her middle name Catherine? You started off lying at the very first question, ma'am. Okay, sorry.
What mental state did you have at that time?
very confused. It was very hazy. I didn't understand the monumental amount of people that were there and what they were doing with taking things from my home. I was worried about my dogs.
I want to go back for one
I was
second.
worried about my son. I was
Too far.
25th of 2020.
correct.
Was that the date of this interrogation that we're here for on this motion?
Yes.
All right. Let me take you back to the morning of finding George Torres in the suitcase. You called 911?
Yes.
Is it
She did not call 911 in the morning. So I hope they practiced that part because she slept all morning and ignored Brian's calls. She called 911 a few minutes before 1 p.m.
true that Detective or Deputy Kayla Rodriguez of the Sheriff's Department arrived?
Yes.
What mental state did you have at that time?
I was very confused. It was very hazy. I didn't understand the monumental amount of people that were there and what they were doing with taking things from my home. I was worried about my dogs.
What about George? Were you worried about George at all before you got to your dogs and the monumental people before they arrived? Like, what was your state of mind when you found him? Like, I feel like they intentionally avoided that, right? But it looks bad that you were worried about your dogs and you weren't worried about your dead boyfriend. Now, I get it. She's going with the battered spouse. So she's intentionally done it, but it just seems like after having slept on the fact that you intentionally now murdered your boyfriend, that he's not at all on your mind. Also, I feel like part of the trouble with now moving to it was self-defense, it was intentional. Why did you sleep all day, basically? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you did it on purpose and you were of sound mind and you remember doing it on purpose, why are you ignoring Brian's phone calls? Why are you asleep? Like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't think, well, first of all, I wouldn't be murdering anybody, but you guys just go with me. If you know your boyfriend's downstairs dead, do you just like, oh, I'm going to sleep in, get my beauty rest before I start my day?
I was worried about my son. I was in shock. I was traumatized by the situation and then trying to focus on everything that was going on at my home. I was hungover. I was still, I believe, intoxicated to a degree.
Objection, Judge, move to strike. This is outside their motion to suppress. They have not made any allegations that her statement was involuntary because of her mental state or state of intoxication.
Response?
Judge, we're talking about, I'm just getting some preliminary information. Her interrogation is the next day.
The state has an obligation, and the case law cited by the state requires specificity in the motions. So it's not a game of 20 questions and a surprise.
Okay, this is the day before the interrogation.
I understand that.
We're not talking about an
So are
intoxication.
you going to be arguing anything in conclusion as to what happened on February 24th led to any coercive or coercion behavior on behalf of the Orange County Sheriff's Office on February 25? Are you going to bootstrap or link any of those things?
He needs some kind of strap. I don't know if it's a bootstrap. So Afton, yes, Brian was already there. She answered his last call, and then she called him again to make sure he was on his way. And then once he got there, he told her to call 911. This is going to be another problem for her because she told Brian the story about playing hide and seek. So if she did it intentionally, why didn't she just tell Brian? Brian knew all the history. I mean, purportedly she knows Brian she knows George better than he knew himself. But of all the people, right, she would have a relationship with Brian. They have a child together. Why didn't she just say, oh my God, I had enough last night and now I don't know what to do? No, she told Brian the story of it was not intentional. They were playing hide and seek. How does defense get around that?
Things together.
The interrogation in the squad car and what was said to her prior to getting in the squad car that relates to what she said about it being routine protocol, yes.
All right, I'm going to sustain the state's objection.
Relating to the intoxication?
Yes. It wasn't raised in any of the 3 motions that have been filed.
Judge, I didn't ask her that. She volunteered.
I understand it.
Okay.
Objection sustained and it's stricken.
Did you speak to the deputy about what had happened?
Yes.
Okay. And then were you asked to stay on scene?
By both, yes. By both detectives, yes.
Okay. How long did it take the detectives to arrive after you had spoken initially with Deputy Rodriguez?
It was not right away. I don't know specifically, but it was not quickly.
Okay. Did the 2 detectives, when they arrived, did they take over the investigation?
It was my understanding, yes.
No foundation.
Sustained.
How would she know if they took over the investigation? That's I don't know why he asked her that.
At some point, were the detectives directing you what to do and where to go?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain what the detectives told you as it relates to you getting in the car? What, was the phone issue before the car?
Yes.
Sustained.
Let me ask you about the phone. When were you first asked about your phone?
From my remembering, it was once they arrived, one of the first questions that Hopesall asked me was if I owned a phone.
And what did you tell her?
I told her it was on the kitchen counter.
All right. And what happened next as it relates to the phone?
I believe that it was brought to her with someone else. I don't remember.
Sustained.
What was the next thing that you were told or talked to about as it relates to the phone?
Unlock it.
Who told you that?
Detective Hopesall.
How did you unlock it?
She handed it to me and I unlocked it.
How do you unlock your phone?
It was with a passcode.
Okay. And when you unlocked it, did you give it back to the detective?
I did.
All right. Did you ever see the phone again?
I did not.
Okay. After that incident, was the next time you were spoken to by Detective Copesall was in relation to the interview in the squad car?
Yes, she told me I needed to go with her and Detective Lowen to her unmarked vehicle.
And did she tell you anything about what was going to take place once y'all got inside the vehicle?
That she was just going to be asking me general questions.
All right. Was there ever any mention about normal protocol?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. What about once you got in the squad car?
I don't recall the squad car.
Okay. And that was recorded for the court to consider. And
So I think she screwed up there. I think she was supposed to say that outside of the recording, the detective said normal protocol because they have this running theme about it. And Judge Kraynick, Zaddy Kraynick, corrects them in his ruling about the only one who said it was Sarah. But now, based on how she just testified, she is the only one who said, you know what I mean? I think she screwed up there and then she realized, but you can't undo what you said. And the truth don't change, baby. The truth don't change.
So she read you your Miranda rights?
Yes,
All right. Did you answer the questions?
I did.
Did they ever indicate to you that you were a suspect?
No,
Did they ever indicate to you that you were a person of interest?
no,
Did they ever refer to the videos that you recorded on your phone from the night before? Were you ever questioned about those videos at the scene?
I was not.
All right, after they finished interviewing you in the unmarked vehicle, were you allowed to get out?
Yes,
Were you allowed to leave the scene at that point?
I was instructed by those to not.
Okay. And how long did you stay on the scene?
The entire time,
How long was that? How long did it take before the investigation was completed?
10 hours or more.
At some point, did they all leave?
Yes,
And at some point, did they tell you they were finished with the work there at the scene?
yes.
What did you do?
I went inside my apartment and gathered a few things, and then I went to my former husband's residence where my son was located.
All right, and how far was that away?
About 5 minutes.
How did you get there?
I drove
Okay. What was the reason that you wanted to stay over there the night?
because I was terrified of his family.
Now, later that evening, you were going to spend the night.
So the family who's getting the news that, I'm going to say his mom and dad, that their son just died, they're going to be worried about, they're going to be looking for you, Sarah? I feel like it would have been a better answer to just say it like I was creeped out by being there or something, but this is very intentional. I feel like they're practicing, right? Like this is all sort of a dress rehearsal for Owens and Boone. I don't know. I'm going to give her a D. I don't want to give her a complete F because, like I said, she's normally when we hear her speak, like when she's had interactions with the judge, she goes on and on and on, and she's keeping her answers concise. She slips up a little bit when on cross-exam, and I hope Mr. J picked up on it because he had her rattled, and maybe he was going soft because he kind of knew where this was going, but she was definitely rattled, and then he kind of backed off.
Night there with your son and with your ex-husband?
Correct.
And did you do that?
My son, yes.
All right. Later that evening, did you attempt to contact Detective Kopsel?
I did.
And whose phone did you use?
Former husband, Brian Boone.
You said your phone had been seized
Correct.
and you had consented to that. You signed a form allowing them to take the phone.
Yes.
Have there been any discussion about returning the phone?
Kopsel told me she or Lowen or both would return back to my apartment to return my phone
And when did they tell you this?
before they left the scene.
And did they tell you they would return your phone where?
To myself at the apartment.
And is that what you understood they were going to do?
Yes.
Was there ever any talk about you coming to the sheriff's department the day of this event?
No.
All right, so later that evening, you borrowed your ex-husband Brian Boone's phone and made a phone call. How did you know Detective Kopsel's private cell number?
She gave it to me before she left the scene.
And did you call her?
I did.
Do you recall about what time you called her?
I believe it was around 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
And that would have been on February the 24th of 2020?
Yes.
All right, can you tell us why you were calling her that night?
Before she left and giving me her personal cell phone number, she told me if I were to recall anything or if I just wanted to talk to her about something regarding the case for me to call her. So I took that to heart and felt very uneasy about how they left the scene.
Sustained.
Go ahead.
It was sustained. No, go ahead. You need a new question.
There's no pending question at this time.
Okay, you were concerned about the case and you wanted to call her.
Yes.
And did you talk to her?
Yes.
What did you say to her?
I told her, in all honesty, that I felt that she was trying to trick me.
Objection. You're relevant.
Sustained.
Did you have a conversation about your phone?
Yes. I asked her.
Objection. Answered.
Oh. You may answer the question, ma'am.
Did you call for a yes or no? She said yes, and now I don't know like what's pending and how to object.
Did y'all have a discussion about your phone?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that discussion?
She told me that I needed to come down to the sheriff's department because she was pregnant, and asked me if I remembered about when I was being pregnant, and it would just be a lot easier for her if I were to.
All right, all the moms in the chat. Has anybody ever said to you, do you remember when you were being pregnant? It's such a weird way to phrase it. And that is not like, we've heard Chelsea at least for 2 hours in the interrogation. And then in this hearing, if you remember when you were being pregnant, that just sounds so awkward. It just makes it sound like a lie. And then even if she were, let's just say Sarah misspoke, maybe she asked, do you remember when you were pregnant? Like, it would seem more natural for someone to say, oh, I'm really tired. This pregnancy is dragging. I'm sure you remember, or you know what I'm talking about. Or do you know what I mean? Like, why would she call and say, do you remember when you were being pregnant? I'm pregnant and I can't come. So can you come down here? It doesn't even sound plausible.
To arrive at the sheriff's department to pick up my phone.
Was there any discussion about you being interrogated at the sheriff's department?
No.
Was your understanding the sole purpose of you going to the sheriff's department the next day was to pick up your phone?
Yes.
And the sole reason for the change in plans from them bringing the phone to you was because Detective Kopsel was pregnant and not feeling well?
Correct.
So the next afternoon, did you drive to the sheriff's department?
I did.
Tell us, when you parked your car, where you went, what happened?
I parked my car and left everything as regular in my car, and walked through the front door and went to the window asking who I needed to see, and they, I guess, rang them upstairs, and Detective Lowen came downstairs, and I thought I was supposed to be picking my phone up over at a particular window, and he says, no, your phone is upstairs, so we would just like for you to come upstairs.
Where did she get that thought from? Who told her she was going to a particular window? Unless it's something that happened before at the sheriff's office, i.e. when she was arrested before and she had to collect her property on the way out, there's no foundation for why she would think it was at a window that the homicide detectives were going to place her phone that they had taken into evidence.
And that's where you can pick up your phone.
All right. And so did he escort you upstairs?
He did.
How did y'all get upstairs?
In an elevator.
And what was he wearing?
I believe he was wearing a red shirt along with his firearm and black pants.
His firearm was on his waist?
The entire time, yes.
Okay. So y'all got off the elevator. Where did you go from there?
He brought me into a very small room, and they had me sit down, and then from there I had a list of things that I was going to ask them that I might need to do or that I could do.
Okay. So from the elevator, Detective Lowen escorted you directly into the interview room, and we've got the recording, the audio and the video. You didn't go.
Was that code for don't lie? We've got the recording, don't lie. Thank you, Nico, for gifting memberships. I want to look at this. So this I wondered about too, A. Stevens. Am I loud? I turned it up for the cord. Okay. I wondered about this too, but I feel like it was intentional, right? Because I don't think I mean, it's Sarah. She can't get drunk, right? So I think she had to be talked into saying that. They're trying to enter it into evidence to, to have it on the record, and which is why Mr. J said they made no mention of that in their motion. Like, this is the first time we're hearing this girl even can get drunk. So how does she get hungover? That is what my sense is, but you guys let me know, obviously, what you think. And I also think, I mean, in general, well, and then Mr. J cleverly on cross said, so you were basically, did it impact your memory, right? So he's holding her to it, but he did not want it entered on the record as part of her argument as to why she couldn't fully consent, because I believe that there is something on the books, not that you're totally excused from it, but if you're altered, right, that you can't give full consent, something along those lines. Y'all know I'm not a lawyer, but I think that was intentional. And then thank you, Cat Lady. How do we think the jury will receive Chelsea? And you spelled her name right. I keep spelling it the other way. My mind won't let me do it that way. I think, I think the jury will find her credible. At first, I was a little bit worried about her snark, but I think, like, she doesn't suffer fools, and it comes across that way, right? She doesn't have time for Sarah's foolishness. She doesn't have time for Owen's foolishness. Like, her face, she's never would be a good poker player. It says it all. And I think, well, one, the state's going to have to stack her in there. I don't know if they'll have Scott first, right? They have to stack it in there. I don't think she can be like the first. Well, she wouldn't be the first witness. You have the Kayla Rodriguez character and all those folks. Some people might be put off by her, but I think in contrast to Sarah, she's more credible, whether you appreciate the snark or not. I don't know. You guys let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Do you think they'll like her, not like her?
Anywhere else prior to that time, was there any discussion that you made outside, any discussion between you and either detective about anything, the phone, questioning, anything before walking into that room? Okay. So directly off the elevator and walked into the interrogation room. And then we've got the video on that. Now, you and I've watched the video, correct? And you've seen the motion where I've referred.
She's not only watched the video, she was there live and in person. Interesting. So you don't think he would? I don't know why he let her testify at all. I don't think this did her any favors, because this is, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, obviously, she had to say something to contradict Chelsea, and what they tried to do was to have her remark on things that were not recorded, but I just feel like it fell flat. I think had he had some case citations, he would have had a better chance than putting her on. But your point is well taken, because she can't back out of that now. And so, yeah, maybe he didn't intend for her to do that.
To the question where she asked you to sit down.
Yes.
You recall that happening?
Yes.
Did that refresh your memory watching the video?
Yes.
Do you recall her saying that she had received the autopsy?
Yes.
Do you recall her saying, I want to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that, referring to the autopsy?
Yes.
This was prior to you being read your Miranda rights.
Correct.
She also said, we're not done talking about the incident.
Okay, also, he's asking all leading questions. It's his witness. He's not meant to do that, right? So she's basically just having to say yes or no, which tells me they need more rehearsal time, because he should be able to ask her a real question and not a yes or no question where the answer is already in what he's saying.
You recall that?
Yes.
And then she said, we just have to do it.
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Sustained.
Were you trying to comply with the officer's demands?
Overruled.
In every way.
Were you trying to cooperate?
In every way.
Were you polite with them?
Very.
And when she said that, we just have to do it, You said just like we did yesterday.
Yes.
And then you said normal protocol.
Yes.
Is that what she had said the day before?
What do you mean?
Normal protocol.
Yes.
Had she said the same word? You said normal protocol to her.
I was reiterating to her what she had said to me the day before.
So she read the Miranda rights to you,
Except number 9.
except number 9. She read the rights and then she said, do you understand what I've just read to you? And you agreed that you had.
Yes.
But you were not read having these rights in mind. Do you agree to speak to me now?
Overruled.
I was not asked that question.
Is it fair to say that after she read the Miranda rights and after she said, do you understand the rights that I've just read to you, that she read right into the questioning?
She did, correct.
So she never got the answer from you. Do you agree to speak to us now?
I was never asked that.
I'm guessing she didn't take high school drama. I was never asked that. What? How does she know what number 9 is? Has he since given her a card? I guess it's okay for a hearing, but I think that would be off-putting for the jury.
The way that she acted, the things that she said, the fact that they had your phone. Did you get the impression you were not getting your phone back if you didn't answer the questions?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
She was in custody?
Yeah, it's been conceded by the state in their response that it was a custodial interrogation.
Okay, but she wasn't aware of it. She wasn't aware she was in custody.
What does her subjective perception matter?
Well, under the circumstances, it would matter. I mean, she didn't feel she was free to leave. She was in an enclosed small space.
That all goes to whether or not.
She was being questioned by 2 lead detectives, homicide detectives. One of them was wearing a firearm. She was trying to cooperate as best she could.
They're coming out now. I'll get you somebody.
911, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 Brant Court, apartment 3.
She wants to say
4748, what's the street name?
I'm on.
Brant, F-R-A-N-T-D. And the apartment number? 3.
Well, we're
Don't
here,
know
so
anything though, like why or how?
So we will not know the answer to that because we're not doctors. So what's going to happen is he's going to go to the medical examiner's office and he'll have what's called an autopsy. Yeah. That'll be first thing tomorrow morning. I'll know a lot, hopefully a lot more tomorrow morning as far as him. But I cannot, there's no way I could say how, why. So just by looking at him, like, why is he purple? Oh, that's normal when someone passes away. Lividity turn.
as soon as the heart stops beating, the blood starts to settle to the lowest points of the body. And then it becomes very pronounced. So that's just called a public. What happens every night.
I'm like really scared. I want you guys to know that.
you have, you have all these deputies here, so while we're here, nothing's gonna happen to you. Before we go and make any notifications, you'll have plenty of time to leave or do what you need to do. Whatever you need to do, okay? And we can talk about that more in length, but yeah, it's not gonna be a surprise.
Real quick, and then,
But like, I don't, like, this was totally like not intentional. Like, that's what I'm scared about too. Like,
We'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after medical exam. Like you said, what you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to
Protocol.
the scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that
that
we
I know of.
For him to have passed away, we come out.
I
and we do
know.
an investigation. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office will be sending people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't be here.
I just don't know what I don't know what it is.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answers. The answers that you want, the answers that his family's
I
going to
just
want.
really want to see my son. Like, I really need to see my son. I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but.
right.
So, do I just like sit out here and wait for you guys?
If you would, yes, please.
Does anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here.
Yeah.
That needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him. They're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point. So we won't be calling them quite yet. Okay. So like I said, I got to go do some paperwork. They're going to chat with some people, and then we're going to come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes,
So just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that, and he's going to go do
So, like, do you guys tell his family, like, today or after tomorrow?
We have to.
It's the law. We have to go to make contact with the family.
Yeah.
They have to be notified.
Once our investigation is pretty much complete here, once we leave here, we will be going to.
But again, you'll know. We're not going to just go and do it without you knowing. You'll know. We'll talk to you prior to doing anything like that.
But how, I mean, I understand what you guys and how you do it, and, you know, so, but, like, what do you just tell him? What do you tell his parents? Like, what's the reason?
Passed away.
We tell them what we know at that point.
Yeah.
We tell them the truth.
And that we're going to be waiting for the autopsy results, and I will be at the autopsy in the morning, and hopefully the doctor will be able to give me some of what they think and see.
Yeah. We'll give them their number. They can contact them and get it from them.
But yeah, they're gonna know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that
They're gonna think I killed him.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I
said?
told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me. So he's basically just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them. Even after I've encouraged him numerous times to go over there and see his family. They've never accepted me. They've always been really unforgiving, I'll say that, where they've never accepted me. And everybody in his family has tried to kick my ass. So, especially his sister. He had to pull her off me one time.
Do you have somewhere safe that you can go tonight?
Both my parents are deceased, my grandparents are deceased, my aunt and uncle are deceased. I got nobody. I have a brother that's in the Marines, and I've got another one that's in jail.
Unless the brother that's Marines, is he local?
No. Well, he's in Altamont, but I think he's doing whatever Marine thing he's doing. But the only way...
Your phone's inside, correct?
Yes.
Does he have a phone?
No.
He doesn't have a phone.
He used my phone.
He uses your phone.
Yeah,
okay.
You couldn't. Okay, so that is, you guys can hear that, right? Oh my God, I hope you could. I'm like, oh my God. That was the first time she was asked about her phone. And that was after they had already gone inside. They had come with Kayla. They had their initial introduction. And then, actually, I should show you that part just so you know what I mean. When they first came up to talk to Sarah, And we'll look at the time. Uh-oh, I'm not sharing. Hold on. Shoot.
Honey, that's my corporal. Let me pick it up.
Hey, Sarah. You get enough water? No, if you want to stay seated, don't. I don't want you getting lightheaded. So remember I said the detectives were going to come out and talk to you and go from there. You know what I'm saying? They're here. They're going to ask you a few questions and then go from there, okay? All right.
All right, Sarah. My name's Chelsea. My partner Scott. To my understanding, you reside here.
Yes.
Okay. Is it just you?
And George.
Okay.
And I have a 9-year-old from me. It's 50-50 with Brian, my former husband.
Your former husband. Okay. But you reside here with George, and then your son lives with you, or lives there. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay. So from what
Rodriguez
has told me, she explained last night that you guys were drinking a bottle of wine, and around midnight, you decided you guys.
12:30ish, yeah.
Okay. You guys decided to play hide and seek.
Well, we were playing hide and seek, and then
Was your son home at the time, or okay?
no, with my
Ex.
with Brian.
Okay.
Decided to play. We're just stupid like that. Like, sure, we were putting puzzles together. We were doing artwork. You can see the puzzle that we finished in there, and then the artwork, and then decided to play hide and seek, just being stupid.
Okay.
So he decided to get in the suitcase. So I thought it would be funny to, and he was laughing about it too, to dip him up in there. I go upstairs and fell asleep. So this morning or this afternoon when I actually got up out of the bed, I thought for sure he was downstairs on the laptop because he was being really quiet. But then I came downstairs and I'm like, where is he? Like, and then that's when I found him.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. And then you weren't sure about if you woke up this morning
It was afternoon. I mean, I was
or
awake,
this afternoon.
but I just didn't want to come downstairs. So
Okay.
I just laid in the bed for a little while. And then I eventually came downstairs and was confused about where he was. And then I was like, oh my God, he's in the suitcase still. So I pulled him out and I stretched him out and I started to try to do CPR on him. I called you guys. Well, I called Brian.
Okay.
And then as soon as he got here, which is 30 seconds down the road, I called you guys.
Okay.
And the person on the phone had me do the concussions continually still and count with him until you guys showed up.
Okay. And so as a part of our investigation, we obviously have to go inside the house. We have to look at things. Are you okay with us
Yes.
going in the house and looking at things?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And forensics, so we have to have our forensics crime scene investigators come out. Are you also okay with them coming inside,
Do
taking
whatever you need to
photographs
do.
and
Whatever
okay.
you need to do.
Okay.
Can I ask, is George, was he diagnosed with any kind of medical history?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't take drugs. I mean, we'll have the occasional bottle of wine here and there, but I don't know. Like,
That was going to be my next question. So you guys don't normally drink? You just drink once in a while, or?
well, I'm gonna say like, okay, I guess normal drinking is like we will have like a glass of wine or two, like while we're cooking dinner, here, and we'll play a board game with him. I mean, 12 games in there. But I mean, it's not like
A couple of beers a day?
well, but I don't understand though. Like for the little bit that we had, like that had anything to even do with it. Like I don't know if he had a heart attack or a stroke or an aneurysm or what happened to him. I don't know.
And were you guys together all day yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Here?
Yes.
Like neither of you left the apartment yesterday?
I think he drove up to the convenience store to get cigarettes.
Okay.
But I mean, you could walk there.
Does he have any history of using any drugs? I know he doesn't now because you said he doesn't, but
I don't know.
as far as you've ever known him, you've never
No.
seen him.
No. I mean, he's from Philadelphia, and he grew up in Philadelphia, and then he went to Massachusetts, and then from Massachusetts he came down here. So I don't really know like a whole lot of like medical history or anything.
How long
like
have you
that.
guys been together?
Almost 4 years, like 3.5 years.
You guys been living here the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. He's never been to the doctor or to the hospital during that time?
He and his brother got into a really bad argument at one point, and he had to have facial reconstruction. But he has been in the hospital from that, and then I talked him into going to see like a regular physician so he could get just like a regular like checkup thing.
Yeah.
But there were no red flags.
How long ago was that?
The surgery or
Yeah,
the doctor?
both.
The surgery I think was at this point what, 2 years maybe, 2.5 years. The checkup was probably a good 2 years too.
Okay.
And the suitcase is still in there?
Yep, Ollie.
Is it normally stored down there? Did you guys travel recently?
No, he was going to start putting some of the, what do you call it, donation in there. So that's why, I mean.
That's why it's out?
Yes.
Okay. You guys didn't recently travel somewhere?
Okay, so they were there at least 5 minutes. I'm not going to play the rest of it, but there's two things that stand out to me. Do you know if he has a drug history? And she's like, well, he's from Philadelphia and then Massachusetts. So does that mean you guys never talked about him having a drug history? Or because he's from Philadelphia, he might be doing drugs and you don't know about it? And then she talks about the surgery and the facial reconstruction when they were like, does he have any medical issues? I don't think the surgery from the facial reconstruction is involved with his death. Or do you guys feel like she was just being overly explicit about his hospital stays? But because to Mr. Lowen, Detective Lowen's point, like you guys have been together, she's saying 4, I think she said 4.5. And this is February of 2020. Have they been together since 2016? The first police report was 2018. Did they really go 2 years or a year and a half without interruption? But it just seems like he would have had like an annual checkup, do you know, like blood pressure, glucose, that kind of stuff. Okay, let's skedoodle back over to this hearing.
I think her position is that she was coerced into answering the question.
What does that have to do with coercion? Those are all factors that under Ramirez as to whether or not it was custodial.
Well, I know some of the factors are whether or not the interrogation actually happens in a police station or not, or whether it happens outside a police station. So just that environment alone.
That goes to whether or not it was a custodial interrogation. I'm struggling with the connection on that being noncompliance with Miranda, coercion, or the third ground of voluntariness.
Well, I think it goes subjectively to her and what she was feeling, if she had a free choice or not, based on
subjectivity matter.
Excuse me, based on
subjectivity matter under the case law.
Based on the circumstances that she was dealing with at the time, whether or not she felt she had a choice.
But what does her subjectivity have to do with that?
I believe it's relevant.
Objection's overruled. I'm sorry, rejection sustained. I apologize.
Did you understand you were not going to get your phone back until you answered their questions?
Sustained.
Did you have some questions for them at the end?
I did.
Did you feel like you had a choice in answering their questions?
Sustained.
Man, that day,
when he says, did you have any questions for them? And she says, I did. All bets are off because they can't answer the questions without Mirandizing her. So then it makes it moot that, she didn't know that she was officially Mirandized because they didn't ask question number 9. Because what if her question is, if I killed him, do I have to tell you guys? Or if I killed him, is there a way to get out of it? Do you know what I mean? They can't start going into questions. You see that in all the interrogations. Like, okay, before we get into anything, I need to read you your rights. So I think he flubbed there because he said that and then he didn't follow it up. Oh, Mr. Owens, I wish I understood you.
Ma'am, that day, you came to the sheriff's department to get your phone?
That's, yes,
Did you know that you were going to be placed in custody?
I did not.
Did you know that you were going to be arrested?
I did not.
Did you know that you were going to be questioned?
I did not.
Were you trying to cooperate with law enforcement based on her statements that you have to talk to us?
Yes.
Rule.
Were you there answering her questions because she confirmed that this was normal protocol?
That was my understanding, yes.
That's all the questions I have.
Any cross-examination?
So that afternoon on February 24th of 2020, when Deputy Kayla Rodriguez arrived at your residence shortly after 1 p.m., you were under the influence of alcohol, correct?
Yes.
You were impaired by alcohol, correct?
I don't know as much as impaired means. It did affect, yes.
Okay. And that was consumption from the night before, correct?
Yes.
So you did not go to brunch that morning and have mimosas or anything else to drink, correct? You consumed no alcohol in your home that morning, correct? So does that affect in any way your memory when you testify about the events that transpired between you and Detective Copesel that afternoon?
Ask one more time, please.
Did the alcohol have any effect on your memory of what happened between you and Detective Copesel that afternoon?
Now or then?
Then,
Did alcohol affect my conversation with her?
there's a jury instruction that says a witness's memory and perception is pertinent. And I'm asking you, did the alcohol that you were under the influence of affect your memory or perception of the events that you've testified to today that you said happened on that afternoon of February 24th, 2020?
So did they affect my answer?
Judge, I don't think she.
She understands what the hell he's saying. Did it affect your memory, which therefore would have affected your answer? Like maybe you don't remember what happened when you're sitting here testifying that the detective used the word protocol, that the detective asked you for your phone right away. Stop playing.
I don't.
Okay.
It's been asked 3 different ways.
So we'll leave it at you were under the influence of alcohol that afternoon, correct?
Judge, I think she said she didn't know what. She said that she had alcohol under the influence or impaired.
The objection is, the court does not entertain speaking objections. The legal grounds need to be provided. What are the legal grounds of your objection?
Look at Sarah's face.
I know that she had said she didn't know what.
What are the legal grounds of your objection? All right, you may proceed.
He said,
You
I
understand that
withdraw.
you're charged with second-degree murder in this case, correct? You're facing a potential penalty of life in prison, correct? Do you understand that the score sheet minimum is probably about 22 and a half years?
I don't know.
Okay. And it is your desire to have these statements excluded from the jury's consideration, correct?
Judge, I would object to that.
Sustain the objection.
Your intent is to testify differently than you have testified in the statements in State's Exhibit 1, correct?
Judge, I would object to that. I'm not understanding the question.
Mr. J.
Judge, a witness's bias is always at issue when they take the stand, and it's our position that her credibility for all the things that she has testified to today, that particularly the things in conflict with Detective Copsel's testimony. And the court, of course, in a motion to suppress has to consider the credibility of the witnesses, and you are in the best position to do that. The appellate courts are going to be very deferential to you. It's our position that she's biased. She is charged with second-degree murder. She's facing life in prison. Based on the examination that both state attorneys and defense counsel and the state's expert witnessed today, it is the state's belief that she is intending to testify differently than she testified in the statements that she provided to law enforcement in State's Exhibit 1, and therefore she is biased in all the things that she's testified about today, because it is her intent to get this statement, all these statements, or the statement on 225 thrown out, so that she is not going to be cross-examined and impeached with it, so that she can testify the way that she testified this afternoon.
Response. Judge, I agree with the impeachment about being under the influence. I agree with the impeachment about what she's facing, that she may be biased because she's facing potentially life in prison, 22 years on the low end. I agree with all that. We just got through at the jail meeting with the state's expert who evaluated Sarah Boone. I was present. The two prosecutors were present. It wasn't recorded. He can't be a witness now. If he's going to question her about what was said during that evaluation, and he's putting himself potentially to be a witness down the road, I don't think that's proper cross-examination about what she said there versus.
So what he just said, I didn't get like the first 3 times that he said it, or that I watched it. He didn't say it 3 times. Basically, he's worried that Mr. Owens is worried that Mr. J is going to reveal something that happened in the earlier meeting that they had just come from, right? That's why they had the 3 o'clock hearing. And so he's saying if he does, then he becomes a witness, because meaning if he enters testimony, right, then Owens gets to cross-examine him. And then Mr. J is going to clarify, like, he's not going to insert himself in the case in that way. He is just telling her, you understand it's not consistent with what you've said earlier. He's not trying to impeach her right now, but he's putting her up against the fence, right? And so maybe this is why he started to back off a little bit. I think at this point he was just over it too. I'm not over it as in like he didn't want the judge to deny the suppression, but just like, I don't know, is it me or is Owens a little grating? While we're paused, yes, I agree, Junkie the Bear. Owens and Henderson have some sketchy things involving women, young women, unalived women. Yeah. Pamela Oliver, welcome to the membership. And then we have allegedly Elise. Y'all take it easy on Owens. He was about to retire. His cape and law books have dust on them, and his tongue is dusty too. Sarah, pack your cheese for court. Oh God. Thank you, Mel, for gifting the 5 memberships. I see that it looks like the Texas Redhead got one. Welcome, Texas Redhead. Thanks, Mel. I appreciate you. Let me put myself back. Uh-oh. One day I'll figure out these tiles, I promise.
Anything further, Mr. J?
I am not specifically asking her what she said that was different. And obviously, if I did and she testified differently, I would have to accept that answer. There's no way for me to extrinsically impeach her with that due to the brevity of the time frame that we have all been subjected to. But I do believe it's a fair question to ask her whether or not she intends to testify differently than her statements that are in State's Exhibit 1 and consistently with how she testified this afternoon, and that she understands it would benefit her if these statements are excluded.
I'm going to sustain the objection based on how the question was asked. I'll allow you to revisit it based on how you just explained it to me.
You gave statements to an evaluator this afternoon, did you not?
I did.
All right. And without going into the details, would you agree that there are some differences in those statements as to what is in the statements you provided to law enforcement on February 25th of 2020?
Yes.
And you understand that I would be able to cross-examine you on giving inconsistent statements at trial if you take the stand, correct?
I understand.
And so you understand the benefit of this motion to suppress being granted.
Of course.
No other questions?
Any redirect examination? Okay. We can have Ms. Boone return back to council's table. While she's in the process of returning to council's table, anything else further from an evidence or testimony perspective from your side of the ledger?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else from the state other than argument?
Just argument.
Okay. All right. Once Ms. Boone's seated, we can proceed with any argument. And as the
I want to go through some of the comments. I think, of course, was the only honest answer that we got up there. She started lying, starting with her name, Sarah Boone, instead of Sarah Catherine Boone for a full name, and until she got to the end, of course. And then you could see she was also smirking at the end when Mr. J was clarifying how he was going to reframe the question, right? Because Owen saved her at that moment. But then she looked a little like off guard when Zaddy Kraynick was like, I'm going to sustain the objection, but based on the way you just explained it to me, I'll let you rephrase the question or whatever he said. And then she kind of started chewing her lip again. I agree with you guys that she does seem a little bit sedated. I know a lot of people come in the chat and say that's not possible. I'm just saying she seems sedated. Those are my 2 cents. I want to go back really fast to her with the officer on the scene when she was saying that she was hung over when Kayla Rodriguez got there. And I want to know, of course, y'all's opinion.
Who pronounced?
She did. Oh, right there.
Did you call it?
Who pronounced him dead?
What time did you call it?
I got a time for it.
Hello there. Hi. You live here? Yes. Okay, I'll talk to you. We gotta get some information from the fire
That's
department.
the property manager. I don't know if I should go tell him really quick or just so he knows what's going on.
Where is he at?
And he wants that way.
Oh, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that for you, okay?
I had a cigarette lube.
I'll get it for you, okay? Wait 1 second, okay?
I really need something to drink.
Okay,
I got my Dr. Pepper on the counter.
okay, we'll take care of you. Give me 1 second.
First of all, I just have to
It's Armando.
hold on. Oh my God. Now that we know Sarah in ways that we didn't when we first saw this, like her attitude toward this officer is off-putting to me, given how much she sort of ingratiates herself to Chelsea and Scott. Like she immediately starts giving this woman orders like, oh, I need to go over here. And I think she said I have a lit cigarette, but the body cam beep went. But I'm like, would you say you had a lit cigarette? I know someone said Brian said it, but it sounds like she had a single cigarette out, right? That she's not saying my pack of cigarettes. She said something about I had a cigarette. Now, whether it was lit or not, she took it out of the pack. When did she have time to do this if she was doing CPR? It's just very odd. Then she was like, I'm very thirsty as soon as the officer said no. Like, this is the Sarah we know. What I think the first time I saw this, I thought, oh, she's just really like upset or no, she might be upset, but that is Sarah, woman of 1,000 questions / demands.
I put the time. That you called it?
Yeah, right there.
You got the time you called it? Okay, perfect. You can't go back inside. What's going on? Who is he to you? Boyfriend?
Yes, because for like 3.5 years.
What happened?
He and I, we drank last night. We had a.
Can you pass this to the around to the FD guys? Stop. They need to sign that for sure.
They're with me, so they're not.
Oh, they're not leaving? Okay.
I think I woke her up.
No. Each of them has to. So this might be a real scene. So each of them has to put their name.
Normally,
in
I just put everybody.
Yeah, you call it working.
What's going on?
Sorry,
I just got here, so fill me in.
No problem. Like,
Yeah,
he and I were putting a puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together.
You are putting a puzzle together?
Yes, we have a puzzle that we started in there.
Okay.
We've been doing art, trying to take the stuff off the wall to make
new armpit up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night.
Okay.
So then it's like we decided to play hide and seek, right?
Okay.
So he gets in the suitcase. Okay.
Who is this guy?
That's my ex-husband, my former husband.
How did he live here with you guys?
No, I called him over here.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So then he came over here.
Here, let's talk in private, okay?
I called you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I tried giving him CPR. The problem is I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
When did you do CPR?
This morning when I found it.
Before you called?
Yes.
It's 1 o'clock right now.
I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him and I took him out and I tried doing CPR and then I called him and then I called you guys.
Did he get here before the fire department got here?
Who?
Your husband or
Yes.
your ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay. Where did he live at?
Right down the street.
Okay. So you were playing and who dipped him up in?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay. You're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what
I
happened.
fell asleep, so I don't know if he suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or
What
what.
kind of medical conditions does he have?
None that I know of.
Nothing that you know of.
None
You
that I
didn't take
know
any
of.
medicine
No.
last night?
No.
No medicine.
All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing puzzle artwork. Then we decided to play hide and seek.
Mhm.
That's all that happened.
Okay.
So I don't know if he had a heart attack or what in there. Like, I don't know what happened.
So how long were you doing CPR on him prior to you calling 911? You tried that all morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I called him while I was
What
doing
time
CPR.
did you start? Probably, give me a rough ballpark. Here, let me fill this deputy in, okay?
Please, may I have my Dr. Pepper? I am
Hold on,
so
one
cotton
second,
mouth
one
right
second.
now.
Ma'am, and you can't talk to him until we get done
Okay,
with
fine.
this, okay?
Just don't leave, okay, Brian?
Thank you, ma'am.
Well,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm getting Lucas.
I know.
Do me a favor. Stand over there by that car. Give me 1 second.
She wanted to talk to Brian so bad. I wish that Deputy Kayla Rodriguez would not have interrupted her when she started the story, because she went over there and that document that they were signing, that is the contamination sheet that we saw in the discovery documents, because it has all those signatures on it. And so the woman, the EMS woman, had not, she was going to write everybody's name in there. And so she wanted to correct it. That's why it's important to do your job properly, because then she wouldn't have had to go over there. And then she's trying to pull Sarah away. And then she starts talking. Sarah intentionally starts talking louder so Brian can hear. I don't know. It's very, and then he's like, I got to go get Lucas. Yeah, that whole, so the reason why I went through that, did she appear drunk to you at that point when she's saying, I mean, relative, I guess, to her in the suitcase video, because she was saying she was drunk, or she said she was hungover and quite possibly drunk, I think was what her testimony, still a little drunk or whatever. Yes, when you tell the truth, it's easy. That is right, Bama. That is, because it doesn't change, right? It doesn't change. You might forget parts of it, but you don't alter it. Yeah. Tangle all kinds of words together. What is that? Oh, what a web we weave when first we practice to deceive. I can't get drunk. I was hungover, right? Her blink rate. It was. Oh, I'm behind. That was at 9:02. What is that from the blink rate? That can be a sign of stress, and it can also be a sign of lying, right? I know I've seen it as a sign of stress. Absolutely not. She has to give her side of the story. I think she's Yeah, I agree, Mary Kay. She is absolutely. She wants to tell her truth, and that is going to get her life. Also, when she was talking to Chelsea and those guys, they were introduced as detectives, and then Chelsea said, Detective Kopsel said, crime scene investigation is going to come. Do you give us consent to have them come in? And it, like, Sarah seemed very relaxed at that point compared to how she was with Rodriguez when she was like, I did CPR this morning, and she, got upset She was like, this morning? Yes. Well, it's 1:00. Oh, but she didn't have that energy when they were like, we're going to send crime scene investigators into your house. Do you know? Like, that would have had me more upset than anything else. Like, and I don't mean to laugh. Like, she's so ridiculous. It seems like she legitimately did not know he was dead because he was trapped in the suitcase all night. I don't think that's hungover. But she's supposed to be, excelling at everything. But she was like, I don't know if he had an aneurysm or what. No, he couldn't breathe, ma'am. He was in a suitcase all night. Okay, I starred some of these. Do you think Owen studied Marsha Thompson and gave her some advice on how to? I don't know if he studied Marsha Thompson. Well, yes, he probably did because he's always talking about Dr. Michael Brandon, who testified in that case, right? And so, but the thing is like Marsha seemed sincere. You could tell that she had put up with a lot throughout her marriage with her husband, right? It seemed sincere. Where Sarah, it seems like an affect. So I don't know. That's again why I think they're practicing. I'm sure he took notes or somebody took notes, or they have the tape. They have not the tape. How old am I? They have the video that they could go back and look at. Like there are moments, and her anger flares up quickly, her frustration when Mr. J is questioning her. And like she uttered that, you've asked it 3 different ways and I still don't understand it. Girl, that is not the demure that you've been putting on up there. I'm going to need you to fall back. It's the word she chooses or doesn't choose that give her away. She's not saying, you guys, why does she say it every time my former husband? Like she corrects it when people say her ex-husband. Is there like a difference or is that semantics? Because former could also be dead, but I guess you'd be late. It'd be your late husband, unless you're Wendy Adelson, and then it'll be your latex husband. So we did that. Oh, I'm on the stars. Yeah. Okay. I starred these because I wanted to go back. What is the tone she's using? She never sounds. Yeah, demure. Isn't that what all the kids are doing? Being demure. I think that is her issue. This Shanna the banana. Oh my god, that my mom always used to sing. Oh my god, what is it? Banana Fana Fofana. That reminds me of that. I always thought if she acted remorseful and said she passed out drunk, that she would have had a better chance at a lesser sentence. I agree. She passed out drunk and she just didn't know he could die in a suitcase. Although there's the case where she had her son in the suitcase. Well, she was filming. Or actually, I think it was a still. I don't know if it was a video. She took a picture of her son in the suitcase with Brian there and the son in the suitcase smiling. So, and CPS got involved. So to some extent, she knew it was dangerous for humans to be in suitcases, but she had everything was his fault. She's not accountable. And I think that is going to bite her, especially at sentencing time. Like, I like Owens better than Chad Daybell's attorney. Yeah, Chad Daybell's attorney was kind of slick. Hey, Addie, did you need your suitcase back? This, aka the cat lady, is why he and Sarah deserve each other, because she does the same things with the random accusations and like the snippetiness. Owens is in a different area than where he practices, and it seems like he hasn't, switched it up. So hopefully these couple of days helped him. Don't call her, by her first name. You need to use her surname, or you can use her first name and her surname. The court does not entertain speaking objections. So, because even after the judge said that, he still went. He was yammering, and so the judge was like, "What is the objection?" And then he said, "I withdraw the objection," which it didn't pop up in the closed captioning because he said it so soft. Like I'm working on some other videos and I was editing part of that, and Owens his level is always higher. I have to bring him down to mix it with Sarah's. So he's normally the loudest one in the room. And in that one, it was so quiet. The closed captioning didn't even pick it up, his withdrawal. So hopefully he doesn't come. I just feel like he's going to put on a show. He just gives me like that old sort of Southern cartoonish attorney that we all, either that or my cousin Vinny. but I think he's a little more. I'm definitely sure he's not playing 4D chess like I thought he might have been. Oh yeah, Law and Lumber. Remember, I haven't watched him in a bit. I think I saw a little bit of him on Friday, but I followed him diligently during the Depp v. Heard. No, she doesn't. She doesn't look confused. She never even acted like she was sorry or missed him. Even when the police were at the apartment, she wasn't concerned at all. Right. And even the questions she asked about him were like to get herself out of trouble. Like, I don't know if he had an aneurysm or this. Like, it's not, there's no sympathy for him. And like, oh my God, we got to call his mom. You know, she's like, oh, they're going to kill me. Like, if you see this man's mother, she's not coming for you, Miss Sarah, at all. Did the state file a motion? Not yet. So I think it's coming on Monday, the motion in limine about it, Cat 3309. So I've been watching, but it may not pop up. It may be one of those that requires a manual acceptance. So we'll see. Okay, I'm showing you guys these other footage because I've been working on a video. This is just my rough draft. But I do want to play a little bit of the 911 so you guys can hear when she said,
will not hang up. Apartment 3.
Shoot, that she had to unfold him. Because I saw a note about the rigor mortis having set in, one of you guys said. Is this, let me just make sure. Oh, because I'm still on here. That's why. Mm-hmm. Okay. You see it says draft. So apologies if it's a little rough.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748, what's the street name?
France, FRANTZ.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
Fire risk. That's the location emergency.
That's 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane, apartment 3.
That was her telling Brian not to leave. Somebody asked if Brian was there before EMS arrived. He was there. He was walking out. He'll say it. We won't see it tonight, but he'll say it later when they ask him. He just went into the threshold, told her to call 911, and then stepped back out.
France Court.
France Court?
Yes.
Okay, is this near Mackenzie Drive?
I don't know where that is.
Okay, fine, okay.
It's Hillwood Park Apartments.
Okay, 4748 France, correct?
Correct.
All right, correct. Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Right, okay, what's your apartment number?
3.
Apartment 3?
Yes, like he has like blood coming out of his mouth, and I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Listen, we're getting help out there too. All right, okay. Okay,
now?
Okay, 40, yeah, man, listen, we're on our way out there. You're at 407-716-8684. Okay, is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No, I pulled him out of the suitcase. I tried giving him CPR.
Okay, so he was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
Okay, how old is the boyfriend, ma'am? 42-year-old male. All right. Okay, we're sending help out there. Sheriff's Office way out there?
Yes,
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen to me. Okay. I just need to confirm this one. No, right. I understand. I just need to confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No. He's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
All right.
I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me, okay?
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
All right.
I tried giving him CPR.
Yeah, okay. Well,
But nothing happened. He's purple.
okay, listen to me. If there's a defibrillator available, I need you to get it for me, okay?
What is
You
it?
have an AED available?
No.
All right. You're right by him now.
I'm sorry?
Are you right by him now?
Yes.
Okay. Lay him flat on his. Okay, ma'am, listen. So listen, is he cold and stiff?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's not necessarily cold, but he's stiff.
Right. Okay. All right. Listen to me. Listen to me. I want you to lay him flat on his back for me on the floor.
I did.
Removing the pillows. Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
He's stiff and purple.
Right. Okay. Listen. Okay, man. That's fine. We're still going to do compressions on him. Okay. All right. Place the heel of your hand on his breastbone, right in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Baby, I'm telling you. Just by looking at him, you can tell.
Okay.
Please.
Did she just call him baby? Baby, I'm telling you.
Okay, just gurgle.
So she definitely is not sounding hungover in that sound either. I think I missed the part I was talking about. When she took him out of the suitcase, when she said she unfolded him. I believe he's purple because of the lividity where the blood has pooled where whatever side he was resting on, right? Because it's not circulating anymore. So that they'll be able to see like what position he was in the longest or as he died rather. I know he's been working on his interrogation. He posted something asking about which one. I was like, whatever you want to do next, I'm here for it. Yes, not one time did the state object on leading. So I think it's allowed in hearings. Oh, I see what you're saying instead of in trial. But then the other ones are you're not allowed speaking objections. Do you know what I mean? I think Mr. J just didn't want to waste his time, honestly. But yeah, it's going to be hard for, yes. Chelsea came across much better on the stand than in the interrogation. And she's freaking gorgeous. Like that is, I mean, that is part of life. Like attractive people have more favor. Yeah, I feel like I didn't see her full face, but also her hair was different. Like she had those highlights in it and now it's just long and she's not pregnant. She's not coughing. I'm a fan. The jury is going to see the interrogation though. I think AKA Cat Lady, you said that they'll probably have her walk, the state will have Chelsea walk through the interrogation. I was tricked. All the other criminals too, Owens. It's going to be painful for her to see Sarah on the stand because we know the lies are coming and only one was wearing a sidearm, really. And how many times has she called the police on George? So her whole thing of like, I didn't know what to do. Girl, 911 is on speed dial. You just press one button on your phone. And then she's afraid of the firearms. She was commanding the police when they came in before because part of their protocol, because DV cases are normally dangerous for police officers, they draw their gun, right? Or their guns, multiple. And she would always be like, oh, you don't need those. There's nothing dangerous inside. Like she was not intimidated by any guns. I damn sure wouldn't be up waving police off who had guns drawn. And they might accidentally misfire. So all of it is like the state will be able to show. She's full of it. She took Latin in high school and walked away with compos mentis. Oh my God. Wait. Uh-oh. Hopefully you can hear me now. Uh-oh. I don't know what was muted. Oh, shoot. Muted. Oh no. I don't know how long I was muted. Can you guys hear me now? That I don't know. some people are saying she's not sedated now. Whatever she's got going on right now, I'm expecting that she'll have that same thing going on at the trial. Keep that now. Yeah, so she doesn't react. Yeah, that part I don't know. Good point, JPC. But what if she feels attacked by Mr. J? I hope Mr. J is gonna do her cross. I'm thinking yes, because he did it at the hearing, but to y'all's point, hearing could be no. Okay, let me see. Sound. Can somebody put a 1 in there if you guys can hear me? These are, oh no, that's from 907. Good Lord, let me go down. Hopefully. Doing whatever marine things. You guys are talking about Owens and Henderson. I think she was cheating on George, as body cam mentions friends a couple of times earlier arrest. I think so too, that last time that he was arrested, right, when he was hiding in the shower, I think she wanted to have someone else over, which is also, she's always accusing him of cheating, I think because she's a cheater, right? Because we know she cheated on Brian with this man. Everybody. Okay, poor Detective Cope. So this basic open and shut case. Oh my God, no pun intended. Too late. At the end of her pregnancy becomes this. I know her child is like 4 years old now. We gone after she goes to a big girls' prison. What money? Whose money? She doesn't have any money. They're not giving, Brian's not paying her alimony right now. The judge in that case said, wait till the murder case is resolved. He stopped paying last year. Who drives you nuts? The Chelsea Copesel? Oh my God. And chatting on Zoom on some, or maybe, oh, I would be. And I have a fully paid up Zoom account, so we don't have to get logged off at an hour. But who is it? Someone said in the chat there's a storm coming. So Tuesday, Wednesday might be off because of the storm. What digital forensics show on her phone activity between the time she woke up and called 911. I think I might have that call log. Hold on. Let's see. Is it in my Dropbox? Let's be nosy together. Okay. Oops. Give me 1 second. I'm going to scroll. Yep. I think it's in reverse though. Hold on. Let me just check this. So it was 223. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see that. Hide this. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Oh, come on, fingers. Nope. Okay. So 222, 222, 223. First call was at 11:52:50 a.m. She called Brian. That, I believe, is the call where he said she was asking for money. And then a little while after that, like 12 something, is when they went to Publix for the first time, Sarah and George. So then the same day, 3:30, she calls Brian. The majority of her calls that day were to Brian. 223, 3:34. So this is before he's in the suitcase. 3:37, she calls Brian again. He answered both times. 3:38, she calls Brian. He answered. They talked for 2 minutes and 35 seconds. 2:23. Oh, that's the date. Sorry, 4:41. Loud and wrong. She called Brian. He answered. They talked for 6 minutes and 51 cents. She got an incoming call, 48 seconds. Don't know who it's from. Outgoing call to Brian, 7:08. They talked for 2 minutes and 13 seconds. She answered that. Where's George while she's talking to Brian like this? 7:11. Brian called her. They talked for 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Then on what time? 7:20 that night, Brian calls her. 9 minutes and 42 seconds. They talk. Cookie, that is his daughter. That's the younger daughter. 7:24. So George called Cookie. They talked for 42 seconds. She answered it. I don't know if it considers a voicemail as an answer because 42 seconds seems super short. Anna Victoria, that's the older daughter and the oldest child. 7:25 outgoing. George talked to her for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Then George called Juanco, which is Juan. 7:30 he called. It was outgoing. They talked for 4 minutes and 6 seconds. So that's the call where Juan was like, he sounded fine. And then Sarah was like, tell them you scratched me or choked me or whatever foolishness she had going on. So then at 8:04, George calls his oldest daughter again. And they talked for 17 seconds. It was answered. Then incoming, again, I wonder if that's voicemail, 17 seconds. Incoming, so the daughter called him back. They talked for 31 seconds, which seems like really short. I just imagine Sarah like being in the background, like, I don't get off the phone. I have to call my son. Cookie, 8:07, he talked to he talked to her for 34 minutes and 36 seconds. Which is crazy because now we know these are the last times he's going to talk to his kids. So then Sarah has the phone back. She's calling Brian, 2:23. This is the call that he deleted. She called him at 11:46 that night. Talked for 1 minute and 13 seconds. Brian deleted it from his call log and he has no memory of what the call was about. So this is still Sarah's phone. This is the next morning at 10:06. There's an incoming call. It was not answered. Brian starts calling her at 11:25 a.m. Not answered. Brian calls 11:25:58. So what was this one? This was 11:25:30. She's not kidding. He blows up the phone. I think at this point, he probably thinks she's asleep. He's trying to wake her up with the phone, right? Because like 28, it's not even 28 seconds later, it's 28. Oh no, that is seconds. Sorry, this is the minute. So 28 seconds later, he calls her. She doesn't answer. Some kind of spam call comes in, not answered at 12:15. Brian calls her again at 12:21, not answered. Brian calls again at 12:22, not answered. I don't know who this is. This is not Brian. Incoming, 12:37. She doesn't answer it. Brian calls at 12:49:27. This time she answers. 32 seconds. George is dead. I need you to get over here. And then outgoing to Brian at 12:54. So 10 minutes later, after she talked to him, she calls. He answered. This is when she says, are you on your way? 12:59, she calls 911. That's the 8-minute call. We didn't listen to all 8 minutes because I've got to edit the back end. But yeah. that was that. And then this is at 1:08. Somebody's calling her. She doesn't answer. It might have been 911 calling her back because I looked at some transcript and it said that she hung up. It doesn't sound like that on the call though, but I'm not sure what happened there. She has an incoming at 1:12, so we know EMS is on scene. At 1:12, the police have arrived. She's not answering it. 3:06, I think this is around the time that they took her phone, 3 o'clock or so. It might have been 5 o'clock or so. But yeah, so those were her calls the day of and the morning after. So yeah, that was what I don't know if she, yeah. I'm sure Forensic can also see, like, was she upstairs playing? Well, no, because she was asleep. She said she was awake but laying in bed. The phone was downstairs. She does say that somewhere. So who knows what Miss Sarah had going on. He wanted to talk about salt. Salt? Like what? Oh my God. Who was at Brian's house? Luke, the son, during the, I think he was at school the day of because Brian mentions he's got to go pick him up. That's why he was calling Sarah to say, it's your day to pick him up. Are you okay to pick him up? Or are you going to be hungover again? How embarrassing to tell detectives that you were adults playing hide and seek and then he ended up dead in the suitcase. Yeah. I love when Mr. J threw the shade and was like, they were playing hide and seek like all normal adults do. That was like, who plays hide and seek? Also, who was supposed to seek if you were watching him hide and help to zip him in? Questions I continue to have about Sarah. I think they're waiting for trial to ask those questions because they don't want her to prepare for those. She's got a lot of other stuff to prepare for. But yeah, how was he hiding if you zipped him in and you knew where he was? The object permanence of a 4-year-old. Oh my God. Yes, he does. I'm going to do a video on it. I'm trying to figure out, like, should I just, it's pretty salacious. I was like, should I do it as members only? Look for it tomorrow or Monday. I'm sure I will just bite the bullet and put it out there. It's not, it's rough. Let me just say that. The suitcase was 28 inches. It was definitely larger than a carry-on. But I mean, it's not giant. It's not like a trunk. Men that are victims of DV are too ashamed to come forward. The woman who abuses the women who abuse use a lot of guilt and manipulation, using the kids as the pawns. Yeah. I mean, and Brian was laughing about it like he wasn't abused, but he was like, well, she's tiny, as if that's okay for her to put hands on him. Like, you don't put your hands on other people, period. So maybe because he didn't feel like he was hurt, but it's still abusive. Somebody's standing there hitting you and she's not like quietly hitting you. That mouth of hers is abusive. I don't think she'll be able to control herself either in court. Like, she's going to blow over, just like how she was getting more and more frustrated at the end of the interrogation. And my hair is wet. And Lowen had to tell her, sit down. She was like, are you trying to assume? And whatever else she was saying. I think she's going to lose it, and I don't think Mr. J is going to be nice. That nice Mr. J is gone now that she's no longer pro se, which I understood why he was being nice, but I was like, oh, that's going to backfire later. Remember, Brian called her home several times and got no answer. It was her turn. Yes. Because he paid his bills on Friday. Oh, wait. If you didn't see the thing, yeah, that's how he's still licensed. I don't know. I know for Mr. Henderson, the charges that the allegations that were against him, he wasn't charged because the statute of limitations passed. But the Owens ones, I'm interested to hear what you guys say, because I don't know why he actually, like, homicidal rage. Yes. But this is the thing. How does she turn it around? So she told, originally Owens was trying to get all this suppressed. He never filed that. He told 911 she was playing a game, or they were playing a game. She told Kayla Rodriguez. She told the EMS they were playing a game. She told Brian when he showed up, they were playing a game. Then Chelsea and Scott show up, they were playing a game. Then her interrogation, she can't get drunk. She doesn't like to get drunk. She has to have her compus mentis. Now you did it on purpose to protect yourself. Then why were you asleep upstairs? Like, why didn't you do something that night? But maybe she'll come back and say, but then she's implicating Brian. He said he doesn't remember. She could come back and say, I told Brian George was dead and he didn't come help me. I don't know. In the court, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, God. Mel, I hope you're safe, but I'm also like, oh, Lordy. I hope that doesn't delay the trial. Because I'm guessing Wednesday or Thursday would be opening statements, but maybe they won't bring the jury in if they know there's a storm coming. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know enough about that area. Whatever they needed to, more than once. Yeah, she was willing. She had questions for them when they came back out. There was never a situation of she didn't want to talk to them. So I'm not sure why she and Owens did that whole like song and dance. My thought is Owens listened exclusively to Sarah, even though he said, you and I listened to the interrogation, right? Because there are little nuances that he missed, and Judge Kraynick picked up on it. Like she had a list when she got there. If she thought she was getting her phone, why was that the first thing on the list? So, and that she contradicted herself, saying she was there on 10 hours, or she was there for 10 hours on scene, but then called the detective from Brian's house at like 9:00. Well, 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. is not 10 hours later, ma'am. That's 8 hours. She said at least 10 hours on the stand. He picked up on all of that. And so I feel good that he will. I mean, obviously the jury will be the fact finders, but I just feel like he's not going to miss a beat. I will look into how to do that. It's just a matter of getting it together. If you want to get it together, I can provide you my Zoom link. AKA the cat lady. I'm happy to do that because I'll give you guys, I may not pop in all of them, but I think it would just like a decompress, because I feel like the trial is going to be stressful, right? We're going to need like a palate cleanser afterwards. So, and it's not like, well, some of you guys have spouses who are into true crime. I am a single person, single mom by choice. So I can come home and tell the baby, probably not a good idea. I could tell the dogs, they don't really care. So here we are. Their neighbor Vincent said he heard something heavy clunk down the stairs and slam into the wall, and it shook. She really did push him down the stairs in the suitcase. Yeah, that's why I think she blacked out. Like, I think the real story is, which she'll never say, she blacked out. She was like pissy ass drunk, blacked out, did all these horrible things to him, couldn't remember that she is a horrible person. Even now she's sober, she doesn't remember she's a horrible person. And then didn't realize that he could die in a suitcase, thought, she's going to teach him a lesson. And in the morning, she'll show him the video where he had to wiggle around. And then she went to sleep and didn't remember that. And then woke up and was like, where's George? Do you know? Because even if in her mind she was going to leave him in there for a little bit, even when she immediately woke up, she didn't remember that she put him in the suitcase. So I just feel like it's, again, she's still responsible for her actions. But I feel like if she would have thrown herself at the mercy of the court and been like, I'm going to get into like a rehab and I totally, whatever. But her goal has been from day one to blame George. It's his fault he got in a suitcase and let her zip him up. Do you know? Now it's his fault because he was abusive. Before, it was his fault because they were playing a joke and having a good time and she fell asleep. So he shouldn't have got in there because he knew she might fall asleep. It's just like no accountability. Because I think the video is hard to overcome. That's the depraved heart. He's begging and she said no. So what is it? What is that expression? A drunk mind. Oh my God, what is it? And a sober tongue? No, I can't remember. But there's something about when you're being drunk, you tell the truth. Like alcohol is a truth seeker or taker or giver, whatever. It definitely lowers your inhibitions. And what is this front part? Oh my God. Is it the amygdala? It impacts like your ability, impulse control, and it is lowered. And so she already has like rough impulse control when she's sober. So imagine. Oh wait, I read somewhere allegedly that George and Sarah did cocaine. I don't know if that's true. I don't know either. I know on Carrie's channel they had the neighbor over from number 7. Not they. She had the neighbor over on her channel who lived in unit 7, and he said they were like tweakers. Does cocaine make you tweak? But I don't know if I can't remember now if he said he actually saw them, but I think that was more of like a personality thing. That and that Sarah had horrible breath. I remember that. She is the epitome of evil, narcissistic, wicked, crazy person. She never once mentioned the fact that her boyfriend was in the suitcase, that she caused him to die, even to this day. Well, I guess now to this day, she's saying for battered spouse. But even when Detective Lowen said, you realize you're the reason George is dead. And she said, I've thought about that. She didn't say yes. She didn't say yes, and I feel horrible about it. Even if we were kidding around, I can't believe I never intended for this to happen. I'm sick that I've taken a man away from his children, his mother, his brothers, his sisters. I'm sick that his 3 children will have to grow up without their father. Nothing. It was all about her. Normal drinking, according to Drunky Bear. Yeah, she's a special treat, that one. A very, very special treat. They only drink on days ending in Y. Ain't that the truth? Good Lord. Don't gild the lily before trial. Yeah, Mr. J, KPM is definitely too smart. You're right. He's not going to reveal his hand. He is, he's a nice contrast to in the trial between Kraynick and Mr. J, because Kraynick is so zen and Mr. J is like, I'm over this. We've been ready for 4 years. Although he did throw the dig in there about, I'm not going to impeach her. It'll just be my bad luck given the time constraints we're all under. Because he was like, I'm going to choke before I ask for a continuance. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's go. Oh yeah, definitely. She's gonna use all the allegations. Henderson. She's gonna use what was his name? Kevin. Is his name Kevin? Yeah, Kevin Beck. That he misused funds, misallocated funds. That Henderson allegedly impregnated a 13-year-old. All of that. Oh, there will be letters. Ron DeSantis, get ready. If we cannot see her face, we may see furious note writing and passing. That will be fun. Which is also why I can't believe she'll be completely unshackled. Like, she's going to blow. Birthdays in July. Oh, somebody had a birthday last Thursday. And I think we missed it because there was no trial. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Owens is going to wear an earpiece for Sarah to tell him the questions. Oh my God. He better not. Yeah. Do you guys think, I'm wondering if, welcome to the membership, 1-2 Bourgeois, aka Lisa D, 1-2 Bourgeois. He told her on the phone or a video visit, or he went in person about the ruling of it not being suppressed. I just think it's interesting. But does she understand? She could be drunk right now. She really could be. Until they play her yelling at the officer, do you need Jesus right now? George! Oh my God, yes. And when she runs outside, but they never mention in any of the police reports that she was drunk or appeared drunk. Obviously, it's on the body cam, but like, why wouldn't they? I mean, the jury's going to see it because Owens he has 4 officers coming in to testify. On his notes, he says they're going to walk them through the body-worn camera that they had on. But I'm sure the state is going to mention, like, did she seem intoxicated? Or, like, obviously the jury will be able to see something. But I think, did I say Owens? I meant Mr. J. I think Mr. J is going to call it out. He has had a few prominent acquittals. Is that, Veronica, is that Mr. Owens has? He was a good attorney. I feel like defense attorneys have to figure out how to push the boundaries, right? They're going to hold, as they should, the state to their burden. If the cops messed up, they're going to call it out. They're going to look for every single opportunity. Just like if you think of the lawyers who always do DUIs, right? It's kind of scummy. They're trying to get drunks off, but it's like they're going to hold the state to the letter of the law. Even though their client may have been drunk, they're going to hold the people who are saying it was wrong accountable, which is how we have, order, whether we like it or not. Like that's our system. But it helps because then I'm not going to say it rids us of corruption, but it reduces the opportunity for corruption. Do you know? Unless you're working under Mayor Adams in New York City, and then all bets are off. Based on Sarah's statement analysis, it looks like they started arguing outside before moving into paint, probably about the music, aka the cat lady. So one of you guys told me, now I can't remember his name, but the one who does analyzing, oh my God. Anyway, he said that when Sarah said the word fractious, which means like irritated, angry, that what is it, hidden words? It's not guilty words. That's a woman. One of you guys told me about him. But when she said fractious, like that, the truth of that is she was yelling at him about the music. She was angry that he wanted to listen to the music and not sit in quiet or sit and talk to her, which who would? So that is when the arguing started. So I don't know. I want to go. He's only doing pieces of the interrogation at a time, but when I revisit it, I want to have like some of his notes in front of me, because it changes the meaning of it a little bit. Because we know she didn't like the music. She went on and on in the interrogation about it. It's a little rough around the edges, and probably she just didn't want him to exert free will. She doesn't like that kind of music, so therefore he should not listen to it in her presence, and like, let's sit and be quiet. Even though she said she could sit all day and not listen to anything and sit in quiet. I don't see that, because she didn't want to go to the solitary, even though it wasn't solitary. She didn't want to go to the single room to review her discovery because she wanted to be with friends and have some comfort, which is where talking happens, because you're supposed to be reading all of your discovery. Being in a quiet room alone is like the perfect situation, ma'am. The blinking, the narcissism, pretending to be victim and hero at the same time, pretending to be smart by using big words, even though they're not. Oh, the judge called her out on that too. And he was so like politely shady. I was here for it. Just nasty, violent women. And also, isn't that a contradiction? If you're leading your abuser around and helping them with the class and helping them communicate, would an abuser be willing to be led in that way? Right? It sounds like she was always in control, the way she tells the story. She was always in control of him. And when he didn't do what she wanted or what she liked, he paid the price. Hazy and confused, but her memories were crystal clear for Owens, right? Yes. And she understood what Owens was saying. She was like, oh, you've asked it 3 times and I still don't get it. Someone in the chat said they had a birthday last Thursday and I thought it was you. I couldn't remember who it was, Amy Crew, but someone did say they had a birthday Thursday, because I remember we were like, oh, well, it was... oh my God. Someone had a birthday that Tuesday when we were in the chat. And then someone else was like, oh, mine is on Thursday. And we were thinking that the hearing would still be on Thursday and we would celebrate it then. But the hearing got moved because of the hurricane. Okay. Oh, wait. Owens put arm around Sarah, patted her back, and was instructed not to refer to her by first name. Oops. So you guys said this, and I hate LW. I did not see it, but could someone, in my last video, when I was like, maybe it's the daddy's girl, daddy dynamic, and then you guys were like, not the way he was patting her, but it could be that other kind of like daddy's girl. Do you know? Like she's a very, very good girl for daddy. I didn't see him rubbing her, and oh, he's old. I mean, I guess she's not a spring chicken, but he's old, he's married. I guess that hasn't stopped her either. I don't know. Don't sleep with your attorney. But remember, she did have that post-coital glance that first day he was in. But then she's mouthing "I love you" to Billy Lane. I don't know, you guys. Don't try to get me inside Sarah's head. That is a scary place. I don't think that, of course, was the mic drop she thought it was. Yeah, it wasn't giving. It was not giving whatever she thought it was meant to give. That was like, more reason to lie, basically. 10-10-7-7. Yes, her birthday is next week, which I find fitting because she killed George 10 days after his birthday. So it probably won't time out exactly right, especially with this storm, but shortly after her birthday, her life will be taken away and that she'll be doing life in prison. Wait, I'm so glad Owens is involved because I cannot imagine. Oh no, it will be a hot mess. And I think it would be very disrespectful to the family. So in that regard, I'm glad Owens is there. Somebody had to do it. He's the perfect one for her. The smirk, yeah. I'm like an hour behind in these chats. I was like at 9:33. Why? Oh, let me click this button. I wonder if... Oh, it's Carolyn's birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy... Yes, she did. Oh, Billy Lane has confirmed that he is not the object of Sarah's courtroom affection. So maybe it is Pena in there. Oh, God. Why do it in front of the cameras too, no less? Nonetheless. Isn't she thinking about futuristically when we find out who it is? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Wait. Okay, Caffeinated Slug. I like that name. Sarah is going to be proven the batterer. The neighbor will talk about how Sarah told him, if you hear anything noise coming from my apartment, don't pay attention to it. Said no abused person ever. Oh, yours is on Monday the 7th. Happy early birthday, PSR. Okay, so someone else is saying Pena was in court. Oh my God. Another reason why she needs to be shackled. Are they going to try to hug each other? Like, what is... Pena visits her on a regular basis. This is what I keep saying. George was the battered wife, if anyone was. Yes. Jay calling him out on violating the surname regulation was a jab at Owen's argument about the importance of policy. Oh, yes. Yes. Hold his feet to the fire. Quite amusing. And Owen's reaction was priceless. He did a whole like twist around, took his glass. First he looked down and then he took the whole set of glasses. They're not a set. He took his glasses off. Yeah. And this court is rather, well, not just this. I think the local procedures here are rather strict because I know they also have to wear jackets in there. That's why Cacciatore had on that rain jacket that day because he didn't have his suit coat. Like they're very proper. He can't stand her. How do you know he can't stand her? You mean other than from fetching those boxes back and forth? Hey, Rich, I didn't see you in here. She has a compulsion with saying everything twice in an attempt to manipulate constantly. Ugh. I was thinking it might be a tick, but she does do it to emphasize, right? Not intentional. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. As if you say it more than one time. Freshly missy. Yes. Which is why I think we're all inferring the bat was involved. I mean, I guess you could lose your teeth coming down the stairs too. But she said that when they were talking to her too, he just started losing his teeth. Is it Yana's birthday too? Okay. Oh my God. I don't think the Hey Tell the Truth is going to point out Sarah was abusive or controlling George. I think the need to, because it shows who Sarah really is. I don't think they're going to point out. Okay. I mean, I think they will point out that she is not abused, right? If their motion in limine fails, because Mr. J already said, like, was he isolating her? Was he cutting her off from family? Did he control her communications? Those sorts of things, which he knows the opposite is true, right? Sarah took George away from his family over to her house. He didn't have transportation. He had the bike that she purchased for him. He didn't have a working phone, even though in that clip Sarah says he has no phone. We know there's a phone in the suitcase with him. So he relied on her phone for communication and had to have permission from her, right? Not white people music. Oh my God. I don't know. I'm imagining he was, I don't know actually, because his friend listened to guitar music or played guitar, or not his friend, the neighbor, Vincent. Although I listened to guitar and rap music and jazz music. But yeah, I wonder I don't think Sarah probably likes any music, because why not compromise and, alternate back and forth. After the motion hearing that he might move to strike. Yeah. That's what he's saying. He's going to file the motion in limine. So I'm hoping we see it on the docket before Monday, but they would be arguing it Monday, which makes me also nervous because it just is giving me throwback Donna Adelson. Like, you guys are having discussion still right before jury selection. I don't know that I'm prepared to hear Georgia's true condition from the Emmy. I'm afraid it will be heartbreaking. I agree with you. I think it's definitely going to be heartbreaking. I asked actually for autopsy photos. I'm kind of regretting it. Hopefully they won't send it to me, because the version of the doc I have it's redacted. I've got black pages there, but I know some people said they have seen it. So I asked a different source that does FOIA in Florida than what I had asked previously, then who gave me this discovery. So we'll see. But I've heard just like teeth missing, skull. It doesn't sound pleasant, and it's definitely more than just playing hide and seek or playing anything, and him just merely getting in a suitcase and being zipped up. It sounds, what was her word? This is horrific. And there seemed to be a lot of damage on the left side of his body. So originally I was thinking like maybe he went down the stairs on the left side of his body, but then everyone's bringing up the bat. And I found out about the head injuries, where it was like his head was still and an object was coming into him. That's the other thing. So Owens has not filed for he hasn't asked for money for a new death investigator. So what is he going to do about that? Or maybe he's getting around that by saying she did it on purpose. If Baddert doesn't get in, I'm curious to see how they navigate that, right? Because, I don't know. They're going to be all over the place. They can't rescind that and say, no, I wasn't battered, or no, I wasn't drunk. Although, did she say on the stand? The only thing she said is she was afraid of his family, right? She hasn't actually testified that she was battered. Am I misremembering, you guys? She didn't say that, right, on the stand this time? But maybe she said it in the evaluation, and that's what Mr. J was referencing. Yeah, I don't know. All right, it's 10:30. I'm gonna go see if the Ward case files is live, and maybe I'll see some of you guys over there. But Sugar Bear is snoring. I'm sure you can hear him. The dogs are asleep. So I'm going to lay back and put my feet up. I definitely appreciate all you guys coming to hang out with me. And I will talk to you later. Toodles.